All right, today is an exciting day. 2 days out before my race. I'm going in right now to go and get my bike fit at 3 o'clock. So I'm currently just getting my bike all set up, throwing it in the car, and then heading over to Burlington. The bike fitter, his name is Dr. Peter. The place that I am going to is Propel Active Health and Lifestyle. So I will let Peter, or Dr. Peter, introduce himself, give you guys a rundown of everything he does. So this is my first ever bike fit, and I got new triathlon shoes and I got a brand new saddle. The saddle just did not come in time for my bike fit, unfortunately. So you know how they always say don't do something new on race day. This is kind of like that because I'm 2 days out, but it's just a sprint triathlon, well flaked one, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, so my name is Dr. Peter Lekowski. I work here and I own Propel Active Health and Lifestyle with my wife. We've owned this place for 3 years now. I'm a sports specialist chiropractor. I've been doing this for almost 13 years now, and I've worked with runners, cyclists, and all kinds of athletes for my whole career. Working with athletes and sports injuries is kind of my shtick. A while ago, I started seeing more and more cyclists, and it made sense to me that taking some courses in bike fitting would be the right move for me. Only because I got to a point where I was, working with cyclists and trying to treat their injuries, and they get better, but some injuries would come back. So I would be left making assumptions about what people should do with their bike, but at the end of the day, it was all assumptions. But it made sense to me that taking a course and setting up the bike, almost like an ergonomic assessment for a desk, would make sense, especially with how much time people spend on the bike. So took the coursework, been working in bike fitting for a while now, and I really like doing it. Saves my hands because I do a lot of active release and a lot of other soft tissue therapies at work. This is a very nice way to help not only prevent injuries, but hit things right at the root cause, and not to mention maybe improve some performance. So here we are. I'm looking forward to this fit. I love working with aero bikes. This is a very nice one, and I'm looking forward to today.
Awesome, thank you, kid.
No problem. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to take a saddle width measurement.
Okay.
This is a gross measurement of your ischial tuberosity width, which then we'll use to estimate what your saddle width should be like.
Okay, cool.
So
Perfect.
this is a pretty crude measurement. It's nice and easy. You can recreate this at home.
Okay.
Basically, it's just 3 pieces of cardboard. You're going to sit down on the stairs. You're going to point your sits bones down right into it.
Okay.
You're going to grip underneath the stair here. You're going to push your butt as far down as you can. And then you're going to, without shifting, you're going to move over to one side to get the right sit bone as deep into the cardboard as possible. Then here, really pulling up.
Okay.
And then you're going to lift up.
Okay.
That's it.
Awesome. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, I did this by myself the other day, and
It works.
I don't know if I did it properly, so it's good that I'm doing it again.
Good. So point your chest down towards your thighs. Yeah, there you go. Get each sit bone as hard as you can, and then without lifting, lean to the one side, lean to the other side. That's great.
You want me to like pull down?
Yep.
Bro.
Yeah. At the end of the day, saddle width measurement is like sizing your foot.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you may fit as an 11 in an A6, but in a Saucony you may fit as a 10 and a half. It's an estimate, and it gives you like something to shoot for.
Right.
So if you're in the market for a new saddle, then you could go to a store and say, look, I need a size 13 or 130 mils across. Let me sit on as many of those as possible. And realistically, that's what you need to do. It's just like picking a pair of shoes, right?
Okay.
Somebody will tell you, well, you need stability this, you need that. At the end of the day, you should try on a bunch of shoes and see which ones feel most comfortable.
Okay.
And then the true test is actually being on the bike.
Being on the bike, yeah.
That's 3 o'clock. When I ask you for 6 o'clock, it's bottom dead center.
Okay.
Okay? So that's what we're going to start with. So why don't you get on the bike and just start spinning a little bit.
All right.
do have soreness in the saddle in the pharyngeal area. Is it more on one side versus the other, or is it equally on both sides?
I think more on my left side that I get more saddle sore.
Okay.
But then it just kind of both sides.
Eventually, yeah. Yeah, the problem I have with it is that you're sitting very far forward on the seat right now. You're way beyond where the sweet spot is on this seat.
Okay.
Right? Because I can see the widest part of the seat.
Yeah.
Like your butt's not even covering it. Yeah, it shouldn't.
So I should be way back here.
Yeah, but the thing is I don't think your saddle or aft is in the right spot.
Okay.
So I want you to be further back right now. Like that's better. It should actually be even like slightly further back. Yeah, like right there. Because with these saddles, I should be able to get like 2 times weight like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like right there. That's closer to it. So do me a favor, just to humor me,
Okay.
because we want to get this right into the sweet spot.
Okay.
For the duration of this fit, try to sit at this point.
Okay.
And I'm going to see if I can make the saddle feel comfortable
Okay.
while you're sitting at that point.
Okay.
Now right now, obviously, if you're sitting so far back, you probably feel like you're reaching way too far forward on the bike. Like your arms are now further forward, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels better.
So we gotta balance the out a little bit.
Okay.
So do me a favor, let's start with just bringing your right foot to 3 o'clock. You wanna make sure your cleat's in the right position.
Yeah, I need to adjust them. I just put them on myself. I can replicate what was on my other one.
So let's see the other foot, so bring your hand forward. Okay, so kick off your shoes. That's where we start, because essentially where your cleats are in space relative to your shoes will change where the saddle should be and everything else.
Cool. Yeah, you know what's funny? I actually don't really know where I should be sitting on this seat. To be perfectly honest, like I don't know.
Generally with any kind of a saddle, you're on your perineum.
Yeah, and that's where I feel horrible every single time. So,
yeah, so you're squishing your, all the sensitive areas.
Yes, that's right.
Including the nerve. And so let's see if we can make that right. Okay. Now I'm not guaranteeing that that's the right saddle for you, but we're gonna try to like dial this one in.
Cool. I'll cancel my order. So.
We'll see. So these are slightly different in space. You can see how this one's a little further forward.
I see, yeah.
So
I did not put my cleats on properly.
yeah, let's put in and check the positioning of that. Bring that to 3 o'clock for a second. Yeah, so you see, here's the ball of your foot, and you see how the spindle is just behind it?
Okay.
That's kind of the sweet spot.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, good to know.
Now, the other side should be in the same spot, so butt on. So this one, the cleat was way too far up.
Okay.
The other one was almost perfect, but now they're both out. Yeah, so you see where the plumb line is now. So have a look. You see where the laser is?
Yes.
So in this position, this is shooting right through the spindle.
Okay.
And this plumb line should actually be right here at the tibial tuberosity. You're off by a mile. So now, that's because you're still sitting a little bit too far on the nose.
Okay.
So I'd say like right there is ideal, but like your seat is not in the right place.
Okay.
So the knee flexion measurement is essentially what tells us how high your saddle should be, okay? So we're looking at this angle right here, and the sweet spot for that angle should be anywhere between 25, 35, maybe even 36 degrees, and you're at 47.
Yeah.
So with having front of the knee pain, this pretty much explains why you're putting a little bit of extra compression around the kneecap. It's like doing butt to ground squats. You know that once you get past 90 degrees, it's just infinitely more compression on the kneecap against the femur and the soft tissues around it. So it's not to the same degree, but you multiply that over thousands of repetitions on a long ride and it can create a problem. So raising the seat will automatically take some of the pressure off your knees. We know that the fore aft of your seat is slightly wrong as well. Raising the seat will help that as well. especially since we're running out of rail space there.
Yeah.
So why don't we take it one step at a time, raise the seats, probably about 2 centimeters to start.
Cool.
We'll see where the knee flexion angle is at that point, and then we'll go from there. When you get a bike at a bike store and they say you get a bike fit, you may actually get a bike fit. But if you are getting a bike fit and you're there for 10, 15 minutes, that's not a bike fit. And the only reason why I have a problem with that is because a lot of times people leave the store and think that they got a bike fit, so they don't need another one, and they think they're as dialed in on their bike as they should be. So in my opinion, that's doing them a disservice, because they think that if they get pain on the bike, that it's just them.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else that they can do about it, because they've already had a bike fit, so they've exhausted their options. You've already been here for an hour and a half, and I just got you on the bike. So we're not even close to being done. A proper comprehensive bike fit, it takes more than 10 or 15 minutes, and you got to look at the whole picture. You can't do that in 10 to 15 minutes.
No, that's right.
So
yeah, thank
anyway,
you.
that's all I want to say.
Wow.
So this is literally virtually everybody I see will say, well, I did get a bike fit.
So we're gonna go up a little bit more. We got 41
I'm gonna go up
degrees.
in front of your,
So you can see where the tape is, that's where my seat was originally. So going up quite a bit. So my seat post was originally, or sorry, my saddle degree was originally at 6 degrees. And now we're just angling it back up.
I like pointing it down just slightly, like less than a degree.
Okay.
Especially if you're so used to
Being
riding on a 6 degree down saddle. So you can kind of keep it just below degree. Okay.
All right, so now we're gonna focus on changing the front cockpit of the bike. We have found a good spot for the saddle and the height of the actual seat post, so we're gonna stay there and then maybe come back to it. But the seat post has my leg angle at a 34 degree. Peter says maybe a 30 if things go well in the front. We are unsure yet, but now we're just gonna focus on bringing back the TT bars towards the aft end of the bike, because they are pretty far forward, which is making me lean forward. What are we trying to achieve for my bike position with the TT bars? Is it more of like a 90 degrees with the elbow?
Yeah, so 90 degrees at the elbow, but the problem is that we moved your saddle so far up, which moved you back on the bike, and now it just means that you have to reach that much more forward, right?
Okay.
So we gotta narrow your reach a little bit.
Okay.
And we could do that with the use of the aero bars to a certain degree, but at some point, if we go too far, we may have to think about shrinking that stem, which to me looks like a 100 mil stem.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We can always shorten the stem and go from there.
Cool.
I think this is a pretty good place to start. And go from there.
So the tape is where we were originally, and so we moved it back about 3 centimeters. All right, so now we're gonna put on the stem sizer to see if I need to shorten my stem or not, and then adjust the angle of the cockpit. All right, so we're going to use a 70 millimeter stem. Is it millimeters? Yeah, so 70 millimeter stem going from a 90 to a 70, and then putting more of an angle on the cockpit as well. And then changing a little bit with the spacers on the front end. So we'll see how that goes. It feels way more comfortable. My elbows are a nice 90 degrees. My knees are not smashing off my elbows anymore. And my butt is in the proper seated position that needs to be on the seat. So making lots of improvements today. Pumped. Yeah, I definitely feel even now with my leg extension. No irritation in the knee.
Yeah, you even tilt from side to side. So, great.
Yeah, because before I was like my knee would kind of come in, I'd feel it hit the bar in my nutrition box. Yeah, I feel like way more engagement in my legs, like my glutes, my hamstrings, and my quads.
Really? Whew. Okay.
Awesome.
So that pretty much wraps it up. The only thing I want to do is take measurements.
Okay.
To see if you ever need to recreate positioning, you can, and then that'll help you with the saddle.
Sweet. All right, so this is the finished product. So Peter now is just measuring out basically everything that we have changed. So if I do get my new saddle in anytime soon, then I can make sure that I'm matching my measurements to the new saddle. We did learn with the saddle that I have now, this like super squishy spot in here. So every time I put my weight there, it changes my angle with my front nose of the seat putting pressure on me.
Well, what it does is you got a hard spot with a very soft spot that has give. You see how much flex there is?
Yeah.
So when you don't have flex here and you have a lot of flex here, naturally you're going to fall into this groove. And this saddle, if you look at the side profile of it, you've already warped that groove quite a lot over time.
Yeah.
And you're just falling into it, and this is essentially where you're putting all your weight.
Okay.
So as much as you want to put all your weight here, you just keep falling into this groove, which basically collapses even more underneath your own weight.
Right.